You have the floor. Muito obrigado.
Thank you. I'd like to begin by thanking the European Commission, President von der Leyen, and the President of the European Council, Charles Michel, for the great teamwork that we've done together over more than a year in order to achieve this summit today, where we have reached, we've achieved two of the main objectives of the Portuguese presidency. Firstly, to actually hold a summit with India. Europe and India are the two largest democracies in the world, and our joint strategy is vital. Geostrategy is important. We need to work for multilateralism, and together, working together, we can resolve many global challenges. COVID today, and also fighting climate change. For the first time, these summits weren't merely institutional summits like in the past, where we've had the Indian Prime Minister, we've had the Council, the President of the European Council, the presidency, the Portuguese presidency, but we also had the 27 leaders of the European Union present in this summit. So this was very significant, especially at a time when India is going through such a dramatic situation because of COVID. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi did not, however, postpone this summit. We had to hold the summit virtually, but we managed to achieve significant results. As Charles Michel said, ever since 2013, when the negotiations began, we've been working on a trade and investment agreement. Now, we've not only agreed to relaunch these negotiations to work on geographic indicators, for example, we also are going to embark on a strategic cooperation on connectivity, digital terms, transport, and cooperation, people-to-people cooperation. I'd like to say that this was a successful summit that has opened doors that will allow us to make progress and hopefully rapidly conclude an agreement with India. Now, these sort of agreements are vital to relaunch the global economy, our economy, the Indian economy, and this is why we are ready now to speed up our work and achieve the agreement on trade and investment as well as on geographic indication. A second point I want to address is that of the social pillar, the pillar of social rights. Once again, we managed to bring together institutions and social partners and reached a compromise, a commitment that I've now handed to the President of the European Council. And I don't want to read out the Porto Declaration here. It's fairly long, but there are 6 aspects I would like to focus on, which I think shows how important the social pillar is. Firstly, a clear affirmation that Europe has to be the continent of social rights and prosperity. And this particularly means that the European pillar of social rights is absolutely fundamental for cooperation. The implementation of this pillar will speed up the digital, environmental transition and green transition. It will lead to social and economic convergence and will provide a response to demographic challenges. Secondly, the Council welcomed the summit with the social partners and underscored once again how social dialogue is the key element of our social market economy. A third, very important aspect, the Council stated quite clear, we are determined to continue to implement the European Pillar of Social Rights. The action plan tabled by the Commission lays down very useful guidance for implementing these rights, especially focusing on employment, training, and health and social rights. The Council welcomes the ambitious targets set by the Commission on employability, on training, and fighting poverty. And there will be a whole host of indicators that will be used to coordinate economic and social policies, and this will be done in conjunction with the European semester, which means that the Council accepts that the European semester isn't just there to review macroeconomic criterion, financial stability criterion. It's also there to act as a monitoring of the social progress in Europe. Fourthly, the commitment has been made to not only create jobs, but to improve the quality of jobs. Because unless we improve the quality of jobs, we cannot implement the social pillar rights. We need to ensure that at an EU level and a member state level, we need to implement the necessary legislation. We need to make sure that education and skills are at the very heart of our political action. Education, vocational training, lifelong learning, upskilling and reskilling. These are absolutely vital. At the same time, when looking at the digital transition, AI, teleworking, the platform economy, these areas also need to be focused on in order to boost the rights of our workers. Our social security systems and health and safety at work also are essential to this. A fifth element, which is equally important, the Council is committed to reducing inequalities and to make sure that everyone has a fair wage. We need to combat social exclusion and poverty, and in particular, child poverty. We need to do away with the risk of exclusion for vulnerable groups. We need to help the long-term unemployed, the elderly, those with disabilities, or those who are homeless. We also need to combat discrimination and, in particular, gender-based discrimination. We emphasize the need to do away with any gender-based discrimination at the workplace, especially as regards salaries. And then finally, a commitment to focus particularly on the youth. We need a youth policy. Youth unemployment is particularly high. It is very difficult for them to have access to jobs. And the current situation means that they are in a precarious situation. And this is the greatest threat to the demography and the future of Europe. So all of these commitments are absolutely key. The Council is committed to these. We entered into these commitments together with the social partners, so it is up to the Council now to act. We have very tangible objectives and targets, and we need to make sure that the social pillar comes back to the very heart of all EU policies. I think we will redouble our efforts. The Commission, the Parliament and the Council all now share the same objectives, namely to boost our cooperation. And our work has to be based on the digital transition, climate transition, but it has to be a fair cooperation that leaves nobody behind, that gives everyone an opportunity, and particularly to make sure that we have more and better jobs in the future, especially for the young generation.
Mr. Prime Minister, and if I may, we just released on our Council website the joint statement as well, which I wanted to point out on the EU-India meeting, so please check it out. We're going to take a couple of questions here in the room first. Susanna Freshes, you go first. Please, you'll have to stand up and go to the microphone under COVID restrictions.